everybody, and welcome to the Football Philosophy channel. And this weekend it's United and Liverpool. Obviously we just played them in the league last week, got a 0-0 draw at Anfield, which I would have accepted before the game. This weekend it's the FA Cup, so it's winner takes all on the day. No replays like there was last season, and obviously for forever and a day. In the FA Cup, I can remember as far back as there used to be more than one replay. I can remember games going to 2 and 3 replays when I was a young man. But these, obviously with these COVID times, they're not even having one replay now. So on Sunday at Old Trafford, it's winner takes all. There'll be extra time and penalties if necessary. So we need to get through. However we get through, all he needs to win a cup. He wants to win a trophy. I appreciate we're still properly in a title race now. We're halfway through and we're top of the league, so we're definitely in a title race. But I don't think he can afford to just throw away a chance of winning the FA Cup. It is a major trophy. United have got a proud record against Liverpool in the FA Cup, and I would love that to continue, not just because obviously I want to win something this season, I want to remain in as many trophies as possible, but I would love us to keep our proud record. Obviously they've beaten us occasionally, but I've been to some memorable games between United and Liverpool in the FA Cup. The very first time I saw Manchester United play Liverpool in an FA Cup tie, it was actually an FA Cup final in 1977. I was a very, very young man, not much more than a boy, and didn't think we had a chance in that final. Really didn't. Liverpool had already won the league title. 4 days after they played us in the FA Cup final, they were playing in the European Cup final, and they really were recognised as they were recognised as the best team in Europe at the time, which is often regarded. If you're the best team in Europe, people tend to, it's not always true, but they tend to think you're the best team in the world if you're the best team in Europe. So I went down to Wembley that day, not really expecting, well, definitely not expecting to win, obviously hoping for a win, but really thinking that we would get the rough end of the stick and not do it. But United ran out 2-1 winners with goals from Stuart Pearson and Jimmy Greenough, and it made a young lad very, very happy. That was the first time I ever saw United play Liverpool in an FA Cup tie in any round, and it was actually the final. In '79, we played them in the semi-finals, 2 absolutely gargantuan games. It went to a replay. We played them at City's old stadium, Main Road, on a Saturday. I went to that game. It was a 2-2 draw. Again, Liverpool regarded as the best team in Europe really at the time, and we were leading and hanging on, and it was just wave after wave of attack. We could hardly get the ball off them. They were a really clever team, keeping the ball just like the top teams do today, keeping the ball and really moving it round and dragging United everywhere. United had, if I remember rightly, Gordon McQueen at centre back and Martin Buchan marshalling the ranks, the ex-captain Martin Buchan. What a player he was. Liverpool had Kenny Dalglish up front. What a tussle it was. And Martin Buchan against Kenny Dalglish, it was a joy to behold. Two absolutely fantastic footballers. People talk about the game changing. Would they hold their own in the game today? If those 2 players were playing in the game today, they would be 2 of the best players around. Make no mistake about it. Martin Buchan playing centre-back for Man United, and Kenny Dalglish was playing up front for Liverpool. So it was wave after wave of attack, and we were repelling them, and you just thought they'd bound to score. And on about the 82nd minute, I think, Alan Hansen up from the back, another great player. I think he's finished on Match of the Day now, but I'm sure there'll be a few people who watch this who won't even remember him as a player, but will remember him from Match of the Day. And he was a wonderful player himself, Alan Hansen, a tall, elegant centre-back. And he got the equaliser, with including the bit of injury time that was obviously going to be played. There was 10 minutes to go, and Liverpool were that much on top. Your heart was in your mouth. You really thought they'll get another. Didn't expect United to even hang on for another 10 minutes. That's the type of game it was. That was the type of team Liverpool were. But as I say, Gordon McQueen and Martin Buchan at the back in particular, those 2, marshalling the ranks, and they held on and they got a replay. That game was in Manchester. The replay was at Goodison Park literally 4 days later. That's what it was like in those days. 4 days later there was a replay at Goodison Park, and that's a famous goal. You see it on MUTV quite often. United won 1-0. How they kept, again, like I say, the two centre, United's back four in general, but I've got to say McQueen and Buchan again, absolutely magnificent. To keep a clean sheet against a Liverpool team in those days was a great achievement. And they beat them 1-0 with a stooping header from Jimmy Green off from the left wing cross from the old mate Mickey Thomas. Great ball in by Mickey. He loves it. I speak to Mickey occasionally, and he always mentions it, obviously. But what a ball in, and it bounced up, and Jimmy Green off stoops and nodded it home. And United beat them 1-0. That was 79. 85, they drew them in the semi-final again. I'm not going to mention every time they've played them. They have beaten us a couple of times, but we've beaten them on more times than I'm going to mention as well. But I'm mentioning some of the big ones. And in 85, we got them in the semi-final again. This time the semi-final, I thought it was perfectly fair the way they did it. The first game was at Goodison Park, whereas the first game was in Manchester. What was it, 6 years earlier or whatever it was. And again, it was a draw. It was a draw at Goodison Park with a replay at Main Road. And United came out winners again at Main Road. Two fantastic goals at Main Road from Brian Robson and Mark Hughes, and United went through to the final again. Another one that I'd mention, obviously we beat them in the cup final again. Eric Cantona's the double year, we won the double by beating him at Wembley. Eric Cantona scoring a really late goal. What a day that was. I was at Wembley that day. Another wonderful win. But despite having been to see them in two cup finals and two semi-finals, which United won all those games, the big one for me, the real big one for me, is treble year. Because obviously we won the treble, and you wouldn't swap the treble for anything. So although it wasn't a final or a semi-final, I can't quite remember what round it was, 5th round I think, but we played Liverpool in the cup. We had a right tough run in the cup treble year. We knocked Chelsea out, we knocked Arsenal out, we knocked Liverpool out. You know, quite often some of these teams get knocked out for you. You don't have to play all the big teams, but United had a right tough run in treble year. As I say, they knocked Chelsea out, they knocked Arsenal out. And Liverpool, and the Liverpool game in that was at Old Trafford, and Liverpool were leading with a few minutes to play, and Dwight Yorke and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I think Ole was on off the bench as he often was. Everybody calls him, says he was a super sub. He scored goals whether he started or whether he was a sub. He got plenty of starts as well. Don't think that Ole was always on the bench. He got plenty of starts for United and scored plenty of goals when he was a starter as well. But I think he did come on as a sub that day though, and he got the winner in injury time, I think it was. And the rest is history. United went on to win the treble. So as an individual memory, I would probably go with one of the semi-finals, or maybe even the first cup final that United won that I went to. I did go to the one against Southampton the year before, but it got beat in that one. One of those is probably my favourite memory of Liverpool in the cup, as an individual memory. But if I had to choose one and say I can't swap that one for anything, it would be beating Liverpool in the cup in the treble year, because of what was to become of that game, us going on to win the treble. So I'm desperate for us to win this. I actually think Ole will be desperate to win it. I do fancy he'll make some changes. Liverpool going through a bad run of form, got beat again yesterday. Well, when I say got beat again, they've not been getting beat regularly, but they have been dropping points regularly. I'm pretty sure I saw something on Sky where they said I know they've not scored in the last 4 league games, Liverpool. And I think they said on Sky that it's 20 years since they've gone 4 league games without scoring a goal. They got beat at home by Burnley last night, 1-0. Stunned by that result. I've seen some people, by the way, saying we should have done better at Anfield. Burnley have gone and won there. Doesn't work like that. When Liverpool are playing us, the adrenaline is through the roof. It's like a cup final for both clubs. I'm not just saying it's just for Liverpool, for both clubs. It's like a cup final. the adrenaline is through the roof. You can't switch adrenaline on. It's not like a tap. You can't just go, oh, I'm gonna be at my absolute best today. People think footballers should be at the best every time they play. They try the best every time they play. Footballers try the best. What they can't do is have that extra little bit of spark that's a natural spark when your senses are heightened by adrenaline, and you get that when you're playing in massive games, in cup finals, games that you're it doesn't always go well for you, because don't forget the other team have got that as well. But when Liverpool, no disrespect to Burnley whatsoever, Sean Dyche doing an absolutely amazing job there, keeping Burnley, as I said, Liverpool, keeping Burnley in the Premier League is a feat in itself, and they often finish around 10th as well. So he's doing a fantastic job. I'm pretty sure they'll get out of trouble. They're near the relegation zone at the moment, but that's done them the world of good, getting those 3 points. But no disrespect, as I say, to Burnley or to Sean Dyche. But Liverpool, when they play against Burnley, are not quite the same Liverpool that play against Manchester United. So it's churlish to say we should have gone there and done better because Burnley have gone there and won. It's a completely different game against virtually a different team. So that's completely different. But nevertheless, Liverpool are, by their standards, on a particularly poor run of form. Our confidence has got to be up for this game. Our form is good. Another win at Fulham, gone back to the top. And as we've just said, a draw with Liverpool at Anfield, and now we've got them back at Old Trafford this weekend. So our confidence has got to be up. Ollie will want to win it. He will make some changes. I do get that, but he doesn't necessarily have to weaken the team to make changes. So I'm going to go through what I think he will do. And let's see how close I can get it. I'm going to explain player for player, and I do think Henderson will get a game. I know it's Liverpool, but it is the FA Cup, and I do believe most of the changes that he'll make. There will be changes where this is my feeling. When it's difficult to choose between, even though one player might be playing regular, he might be being pushed by another player who's really close to his level. So the players that are going to come in will be players who are close to the level of the players that are playing regular. And in my opinion, in some cases, he's getting it wrong. I think some of the players who are not playing regular are better than some of the players who are playing regular. So I'm going to have a bash at what I think the team will be now, and I'm going to jot it down as I do it. And I'm going to say Henderson's going to get a game in goal. His back four, I cannot see him messing around with it. If Salah's going to be playing, which I think he will be, I think Liverpool are going to go strong. I think Liverpool will have Salah. I think they'll have Firmino at centre forward. There might just be a change there. Divock Origi might get a game perhaps, but I think Mane will definitely play, and I think Salah will definitely play. I don't think Ollie will mess around with his back four. I think his back four is going to be Wan-Bissaka. I think Maguire's definitely going to play, and I think Luke Shaw's definitely going to play. And a lot of people will be saying Telles. I'll be surprised if Telles plays. Shaw more or less had Mo Salah in his back pocket, as people say, at the weekend. Salah will be obviously determined to do better, but he won't be looking forward to playing against Luke Shaw again. And I think it'd give Mo Salah a boost if he saw Telles' name on the team sheet. So I don't expect to see Telles' name on the team sheet. I might be wrong, but I'm sorry, but I don't see it that way. And the other centre back next to Maguire, I think he's definitely going to be Victor Lindelof. Lindelof had a good game last week against Liverpool. He was left. I'm sure he would have been fit to play, but obviously there's a lot of clamour for Bailey to play, and Bailey's doing okay. But I think they thought Fulham, we should be able to manage without Lindelof. I really think this is how he thinks. Lindelof didn't play in the midweek game last week. Then he played against Liverpool. Then he didn't play against Fulham. And I think he'll play against Liverpool this week. So although I think Endo will get a game in goal, I think the back four will be Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Maguire and Shaw. The middle two, I was surprised at Fulham to see it as Pogba and Fred. Obviously, Pogba often partners Matic, and Fred often partners McTominay. It's almost always that way around. So there was a bit of a change around there. Now Fred played against Liverpool and Fred played against Fulham. So I think Fred might get a breather on Sunday, and I think Nemanja Matic will play in the middle. And also, Scott McTominay played against Liverpool and had a good game last week, and again was rested on Wednesday night. I'm not suggesting he was rested necessarily in order to play this. I think it was about fitting other players in by putting Pogba into midfield, who'd played wide on the right against Liverpool, by the way. Pogba played wide on the right against Liverpool. He switched into the middle against Fulham, which made space for Mason Greenwood to get a game wide on the right. So it's about chopping and changing to give people games. I thought that against Fulham, the boss thought he could get away with giving Mason a game on the right, which he did. And I think Pogba only played in McTominay's position because he thought against Fulham, again, we will be doing most of the pressing, and maybe the dirty work that McTominay does might not be quite as important against Fulham as it is against Liverpool. So I don't expect to see Pogba retain his position in the middle of the field. I think McTominay will come back in there so that we've still got that solid, hard-working performer like McTominay is and like Fred is. But as I say, Fred played the last two, so I think Fred will get a breather. So my midfield two, I'm not just saying this from my heart because I've given reasons why I think these two players will play. But this would be my favoured pairing anyway. So I think it's going to be McTominay and Matic at the weekend. Now then, this is where it gets tricky. The two wide men and the two forwards, or the number 10 and the forward. Against Liverpool last week, Pogba was given the wide right role, and he was up against Robertson, and Robertson didn't get much of a look in. And on the other side, Martial was up against Trent Alexander, and Trent Alexander didn't get much of a look in. Look, he's going to want to switch it around, but he's not going to want Trent Alexander to be able to get the run on Luke Shaw, doubling up with Salah, and he's not going to want Robertson getting the run on Wan-Bissaka, doubling up with Mane. So it wouldn't surprise me one little bit to see him go with Pogba and Martial again. Greenwood did that role against City and stayed back and was very disciplined. But I just think he's just had a game. I think Greenwood will get shunted out of the team again. I think there's too many players champing at the bit for a game. It wouldn't even surprise me to see him give Dan James a game. He's not played for a short while now, but Dan James is obviously not flavoured in a month with everybody, but he is a workaholic type player, and he is the type of player that you could put up against Robertson or Trent Alexander and say everywhere he goes, you go. A lot of people don't realise that when you're playing against particularly good teams and particularly good players, your forwards are, some of you, not necessarily your centre forward, but you do defend from the front, by the way. But but your wingers in particular, the defensive roles that they have are equally important as the attacking roles. So nothing would surprise me this weekend. When I say nothing, it wouldn't surprise me if Dan James played. It wouldn't surprise me if it was still Pogba and Martial. I don't fancy him putting Marcus there. I don't think Marcus does the defensive duties as well as either Pogba or Martial or even Dan James for that matter. I'll be surprised to see Marcus Rashford playing in one of the wide positions this weekend. I really would. So I'm going to go with Pogba and Martial. I think Pogba and Martial have just given Robertson and Trent Alexander a torrid time. People think a torrid time, by the way, is keep running past them and beating them and getting crosses in. It's not always the case in tough games. It's stopping them as well, and I think they have tough games. So I think my midfield four is going to be Pogba, McTominay, Matic and Martial. Now this is, as I say, it's been getting tricky already. Van der Beek could play in one of those positions, and Van der Beek deserves a game. I'm going to stick my neck out here. He's been desperate for a game, Van der Beek. He's not had a kick since we played Watford in the Cup. Have we had 2 or 3 league games since then? But he's not had a kick. And I think we've had 3. We have had 3 league games since then, and he's not had a kick. I think Van der Beek, I think there might be a shock. And I think Van der Beek might get a game at number 10, and Bruno will get a rest. So I'm going to go Van der Beek at 10. I do believe Van der Beek will get a game. He might. I don't fancy that he's going to want to put him in the centre of the midfield ahead of McTominay. And I also think Matic not played for a couple of games, is a solid performer in that role. I think Matic is going to play. I can't see him not playing those two players. So then it's, can Van der Beek play wide and track Robertson or track Trent Alexander? Maybe he could, but would he want to put him in there as maybe he could? I'm not sure he would. I think he might say to Bruno on Sunday, have a breather, you're playing every week, go on the bench, if it ain't going well, at least you're there. So I'm going to go with Van der Beek at number 10. That leaves Marcus Rashford and Cavani. It's a real tricky one. When I say it's a tricky one, it's not tricky in any way, shape or form if you're just picking who you think the best player is and who you think the best man for the job is, no matter what team you're playing against. Edison Cavani is the best number 9 at the club. Anthony Martial was easily the best number 9 at the club until Cavani came. He's now easily the second best number 9 at the club. But I can see Martial being stuck to the left to play against Trent Alexander again. I really can. And I think that means that for number 9, it's between Rashford and Cavani. Now, Cavani's just had a fine game against Fulham. We've got another league game at the weekend. I think Rashford was off form last week. I think it's a real tough one for Ollie. When I say a tough one, it's absolutely obvious that Cavani is the man for the job. It's obvious. But Rashford is flavour of the month in so many ways, not just on the field. He's absolute flavour of the month. So I think he's going to have a real tough job. I've got a sneaky feeling he's going to say to Cavani, you've just played a full game. You're getting towards your mid-30s. We need you to play another full game on Wednesday night against Sheffield United. The league's more important and we need you for that. If he's going to say the league's more important, by the way, he could be saying that to so many other players who are playing every week. But it's like a get out of jail card to be able to not have to leave somebody else out, Marcus Rashford, who is just left out against Fulham. It's not often Marcus does get left out of the starting lineup. He was left out of the starting lineup on Wednesday, was it, that game? Yeah, Wednesday. So it would be a very unusual situation for Marcus to be left out of the game, out of the side, 2 games running. So as much as I think the team would be better with Cavani at number 9, I think Marcus will be back in at number 9, and I think Edison will be back on the bench. So they're all explained, every single decision there. I think the lineup is going to be, obviously I'm not going to get it bang on, let's see how many I do get right. I'm going to put that up there so I don't forget to check it when it comes out, when the team news comes out on Sunday. But I think the lineup's going to be Henderson, Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Maguire and Shaw. I think there'll be a midfield 4 of Pogba, McTominay, Matic and Martial. This one is a real tricky one, but I'm fancying Van der Beek's going to get a run at number 10 and Marcus Rashford will be at number 9. That's my guess at what the starting lineup is. Whatever the starting lineup is, I've just been speaking about our previous FA Cup ties, some of our previous FA Cup ties against Liverpool. I'm desperate for us to keep. As I said before, Liverpool have beaten us a couple of times, of course they have, but we've got a great record against Liverpool in the FA Cup. I'd love to see that keep going. I'd love us to still be in the Cup come Sunday night, and I'd love us to still be in with a shout of the double, let alone just the league title. I hope you've enjoyed that show. If you've enjoyed that show, please subscribe. Please tell all your friends. If you didn't enjoy it, don't tell anyone. Keep stum.